Creative Art Classes with John-Marc. How to color a cartoon unicorn. This part of the video is speed inking. I'm currently using Adobe Illustrator to do all my inking in. It's a vector-based program. Some other time I'll be sharing some of my techniques and knowledge that I've grown with Illustrator. Been working with Adobe Illustrator since 1988, believe it or not. And this is just a simple way how I ink my illustrations in for my comic books, coloring books, and in this case, my drawing lessons. And there's some techniques that I go by, and I make all the outside edges a little bit tighter and sharper. That again will be at another lesson I'll explain. So right now this is just a speed inking, extremely fast. Just completing this one so that we can lay in the flat colors and bring it into Photoshop where I do all the coloring in. I also do some of the coloring in as Illustrator as well too sometimes. And the choices that I use for the colors is random, and you can always change that in Photoshop. Now what I like when doing this in Illustrator, when I drop it in that solid color, I take my little magic wand out and I can select a particular area and it's all protected. It's like kind of like masked out, so the other areas don't really much get oversprayed or I have to clean up as much. And as you can see, I take my little hue, saturation, and brightness mode, and that's pretty much what I like to use in selecting the colors. Take my eyedropper out and select it, and sometimes I'll add a little color here, might change it, may not like it. And I just, wherever my eye goes, again, just hey, let's start on the unicorn right now, right there. And let's color in this little part, highlight it. I'm thinking in my head where the lighting might be, the shading. Sometimes you might want to use cool blues on the out edges and warm reds in other areas to add nice warm purples, and nice another color for shadows. But since our little unicorn is purple, I might want to use maybe some blues to fill up that area. And with her hair, I just made it very pink. And I just keep on going back. If you notice, what I do is, it's a brush that I create. It's like a watercolor brush. This is not the airbrush that I used before in inking and coloring the fish. This one is my watercolor brush that I create. And now I'm just playing around with possibility of some hair streaks. And I'm not liking what I'm doing. Sometimes I might, so I might leave them. Normally, an illustration like this from beginning to end could take me a few hours. I'm going much quicker, and I'm not adding as much detail as I normally would in some of my other pictures you might have seen from my backgrounds. Some could take up a couple days when I try to start that. But I just want to get this done so that you could see a foundation that I build upon. So in my head, I'm kind of thinking three-dimensional underneath the neck of the pony, and then where her legs are, kind of where the shadow might be, and just blending in some highlights to give more rotation on there, and the shadowing. In my mind, it's just a thought that where it might end up. So now let's select her hoofs there on the bottom, add a little highlight on them, coming back, adding some more highlights on the other two. As you notice, I only selected two on each side, and so I didn't overspray one another. And let's add the heart in there. Again, my background, as you can see, is white, but technically it is not white. It's actually transparent, so I could take this little unicorn with the stars and add it to any background that I would like. So I could put it behind the sky or put trees on. In this case, I'm just going to put like a little watercolor background. Yeah, the red didn't look so good, so I can randomly change to a blue, just like that, adding on top. It's just like as if you're painting with oils or acrylic. Same thing. You can easily paint over it. I think this picture is done. I hope you enjoyed watching how I inked and colored it in, using Illustrator and Photoshop, two different programs, but the power between the two of them, you can create amazing pictures. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thanks. Check us out on Facebook, that's JMG Studio, and on our Instagram account, that's JMG Studio Cartoon. Don't forget to visit our website, that's jmg-studio.biz. If you enjoyed this video, maybe you should take a look at our bookstore and download or purchase How to Draw 50 Different Fish.